quick corrections and information about my neurological disorder. A lot of times I'll think out a thought completely. My brain works fantastic, better than most. But my body is junk. So my speech, my movements, my fingers, my words sometimes get a little altered. But I can easily correct them, or you get the same point. Like I said this statement, I have a quarrel with God where I want to do his will. I ask, how can I do for you? I don't ask what God can do for me. I ask what I can do for God. That's about it. Now that's used in the United States, but the United States needs to do a lot. If my politicians are taking bribes from Big Pharma, I'm not going to use for cannon fire. Um, you could actual cannon fire, like shove me in a cannon and shoot me, not cannon fire. See, it's not coming out right. Well, let's go back to the corrections from before. I tried to say that my brother has no quarrel with God. He could care less if he sins. He just cares about the almighty dollar. That's about it. How can I get more money? How can I be the big man? But I don't want to be the big man. I never have. I want to help other people. See, they got some fantasy that I'm running around giving away money and I'm just some druggy, junky, mentally ill person like Eric or all these other. No, I'm not. And people clearly see this and then they're confused because they get reports from my father and a dead woman's fantasies. So we got people making up fantasies about me, but they're usually to get out of something. See, I'm just asking for help so I can go to work and pay taxes. I don't gain anything. Meanwhile, my father's like, he just wants Social Security. Yeah, that's what he wants. And he's just mentally ill, and it's a mental health issue, and he's just immature, and this and that. You got the landlord. Now, I'm not the person who originally moved in here. There was an 84-year-old. No doorknob. Waterfalls in windows. I'm reporting this. The landlord says he's going to fix it. But then when I try to report it to Rochester, they falls on deaf ears. They try to ignore it. Then the landlord makes threats. He sends goons my way. It just becomes a big issue. So we got a lot there. But of course, when the landlord says, no, he's just destroying my apartment. They're bringing in the bugs. No, they're leaving windows open. That's why they're rotted like that. Really? Then why is it 3 fucking floors? And why was it like 15 years of damage or 20 years of damage in this window? About 10 to 15, and it gets bigger over time. Upstairs is going to have one like mine in about 10 years. I've been watching how the growth goes. To get to mine, it takes about 20 years. But no, it's me, and it's the tenant before us, and it'll be the tenant after us. He doesn't have a registered plumber. He doesn't have anybody to do framing of the window. He doesn't want to spend the real money in this place. So he has some under the table maintenance guys who just run around, put in a piece of glass, put in a tile, tells the courts it's fixed, and then we have to go through this game again and again and again and again. Well, why don't I just tell them what's going on? I do, but don't forget, I have an 89-year-old father that said every word, I want attention. He wants to show off his testicles. He's trying to get Social Security. He makes up stories. He's looking for attention. He makes false reports. So any report I make is just instantly considered bullshit. Meanwhile, the landlord, who has something to profit off of this, he's all gospel. He's everything. You know, he comes by to pick up the rent. I try to pay it with a letter. He refuses to take the rent. I try to give him in the doorway. He throws me on the ground. He tries to put me out of order because he knows an 84-year-old who's labeled independent, who everybody says is fine, is going senile. Now, the landlord has seen David. He knows he's gone. The maintenance has let David just walk in on me naked because David has a memory of about 60 seconds now. I'll tell him I need privacy. I'm getting naked to put on cream that I make. He'll leave to have a cigarette downstairs. Maintenance will go, oh, can I get up there? 3 days after they're supposed to show up after they canceled. And then David would be like, oh, sure. And then he has them walk in on me on the floor. He knows I can't walk or get off the floor. He knows I have to crawl. Not only that, I'm naked, just pulled up my long underwear, and I make my own cream. That's just cream. But of course, now they want to show. David is smiling, grin the grin. The landlord's maintenance guy, who's just a dumbass redneck who drives a bike. He's not a registered plumber. He's not a registered window repairer. He lives in this cheap ass building. He has very little income. Most of his income comes from this landlord. So he's smiling and laughing. Why do I have to go through this mental anguish? Well, there's a couple reasons. One, they're letting a 84-year-old senile sex offender like David control the situation, and they're getting permissions from him that he should not be giving. And in court, they're twisting him up and fucking with him and his mental condition to hurt me and get statements. And then David changes his statement, when he thinks all these statements are the same thing because his brain is gone. Okay, how about me? My reports, I'm giving context. I'm willing to answer questions. I don't refuse to do anything, and I give full information. But then they pre-ask the landlord, and landlord's like, no, they're junkies, no, they're this, no, they're that, no, they're this. Whatever makes them